Tom checked his wrist device as he hurried through the bustling corridors of the interstellar trade port. His job as a cultural liaison kept him on his toes, especially with delegates arriving from uncharted sectors. Today he was meeting an alien anthropologist from the distant Oriole system, a species known for their translucent skin and delicate features. He found the description fascinating. Humans rarely encountered the Orielians. As he approached the designated meeting spot, he spotted her. Mira stood out with her ethereal appearance, her skin shimmering slightly under the artificial lights of the port. She was examining a holographic map, her brow furrowed in concentration. "Excuse me, are you Mira?" Tom asked, extending his hand in greeting. Mira looked up, her wide eyes reflecting a mixture of curiosity and caution. "Yes, I am Mira. You are Tom?" Her voice had a melodic quality, her accent thick but understandable. "That's me. Welcome to the Galactic Hub. I hope your journey was comfortable?" Tom smiled, trying to put her at ease. "It was enlightening. Your space vessels differ greatly from ours. More robust." Mira's lips curled into a smile as she shook his hand, her touch cool and tentative. "I guess robust is one way to put it," Tom chuckled. "Shall we head to your accommodations? We can take the scenic route, give you a little tour of the area." Mira nodded, her eyes scanning their surroundings. "I would appreciate that, Tom. I am here to learn about human culture, after all." As they walked, Tom pointed out various stalls and shops, explaining their significance. Mira was particularly interested in a small stand selling handcrafted trinkets from different planets. "What are these?" Mira asked, picking up a delicate metal object adorned with tiny gems. "Those are charms. Each gem represents a different planet in the Galactic Union. Humans like to collect them as mementos." "Fascinating," Mira murmured, her fingers tracing the intricate designs. "Orielians do not keep physical reminders. Our memories are shared in different ways." "Oh, how so?" Tom asked, genuinely intrigued. I will explain another time. It is quite complex," Mira said, a hint of mystery in her tone. They continued their tour, stopping at a food vendor. Tom offered Mira a popular human snack, which she accepted with a mixture of eagerness and apprehension. "This is called pretzel. It's a bit salty but very popular here," Tom explained. Mira took a tentative bite, her expression unreadable at first, then visibly pleased. "It's very crispy, and the salt is quite potent." "Yeah, they're a favorite during space matches. Speaking of which, there's a game tonight. Have you ever seen a zero-gravity match?" Tom asked, watching her reaction closely. "I have not. My studies never mentioned sports. Is it a significant part of your culture?" "Absolutely," Tom grinned. "It's more than just a game. It's a way to connect, to unwind. Maybe you'd like to join me? You could meet some of my friends, get a broader perspective." Mira considered his invitation, then nodded slowly. "Yes, I think I would like that. Thank you, Tom." As they made their way through the crowded port, Tom felt a sense of accomplishment. Mira was proving to be an observant and thoughtful guest, and he was eager to show her the human side of the galaxy, one experience at a time. The marketplace was a cacophony of colors, scents, and sounds, bustling with life from countless different worlds. Tom led Mira through the throngs of shoppers and vendors, each stall offering a slice of its owner's culture. "Here we have a real melting pot, you see. This market is not just a place for trade, but also a gathering spot where cultures mingle," Tom explained, gesturing broadly at the scene around them. Mira observed everything with wide-eyed wonder. "In Oriel, our markets are silent, structured. This chaos is overwhelming yet fascinating." As they meandered, Tom stopped at a stand laden with exotic fruits. He picked up a spiky, vibrant red fruit, handing it to Mira. "This is called a fire fruit. It's sweet with a bit of a kick at the end. Want to try?" Mira hesitated, her gaze shifting from the fruit to Tom. "Is it a challenge among humans to consume such vibrant produce?" Tom laughed. "Not usually a challenge, more like an enjoyment. Here, I'll show you." He confidently bit into another fire fruit, juice dripping slightly down his chin. Delicious. Encouraged, Mira took a small bite. Her eyes widened as the flavors hit, and a small cough escaped her. Tom quickly handed her a napkin, chuckling. The kick comes as a surprise, doesn't it? Mira nodded, managing a smile. Very much so. I understand the term fire fruit now. Their next stop was a clothing stall, where garments of all sizes, shapes, and colors hung from racks. Mira touched the fabrics gently, her fingers tracing the patterns. These materials are so diverse. In Oriel, we wear uniform attire to promote unity and equality, she remarked. That's interesting, Tom replied, picking up a brightly patterned scarf. Here, clothes can say a lot about a person's identity or mood. Like this scarf, it's bold. Maybe someone wears it to show they're confident or just to stand out. Mira looked at him thoughtfully. And what does your attire say about you, Tom? He glanced down at his simple, functional outfit. I guess it says I prefer comfort and practicality. But maybe I should try something a bit bolder. He grinned, wrapping the scarf around his neck. Mira laughed, a sound that seemed to surprise her as much as it did Tom. It suits you, she said. As they continued through the market, a group of street performers caught their attention. They were humanoids, each painted in vivid colors, performing acrobatic feats. Mira clapped her hands, thoroughly entertained. This is incredible, Tom. Does music and performance hold significant meaning for humans? Absolutely, Tom responded, watching the performers. It's a way to express emotions, tell stories, or even protest. It's a vital part of our humanity. Mira nodded, her expression thoughtful. In Oriel, performances are rare and formal. What I see here is liberating. As the sun began to set, casting a warm glow over the market, Tom and Mira found a quiet spot to sit. They watched the hustle of the market wind down, the vendors packing up, children running about. Today was educational, Mira finally said. I see how much I have to learn about human expressions. And I have much to learn about Orielians, Tom replied with a smile. But that's the best part of my job, sharing cultures, learning from each other. Mira smiled back, the alien marketplace around them feeling a little less overwhelming. Thank you, Tom, for this day. I am eager to experience more. As they rose to leave, the fading light reflected in Mira's translucent skin, reminding Tom of the vastness of the galaxy and the myriad of experiences it held. Today was just the beginning, and he was looking forward to every step of the journey with Mira. Tom's apartment offered a panoramic view of the city skyline, with its myriad lights twinkling under the velvet night. The ambiance was cozy, a soft jazz tune playing in the background as he prepared dinner. Mira watched, fascinated by the human approach to food preparation. What are you making? Mira asked, her eyes curious as Tom moved around the kitchen. It's called risotto. It's a kind of creamy rice dish. I thought something mild would be nice, considering the fire fruit incident earlier today, Tom replied with a smile, stirring the pot on the stove. Mira chuckled, the memory of the spicy fruit still vivid. Yes, I appreciate your consideration. As they ate, the conversation drifted from food to their respective cultures. Mira was keen to learn about Earth and its traditions, and Tom was equally interested in the customs of Oriel. After dinner, I have something special planned, Tom said as he cleared the dishes. I thought we could share something from each of our worlds. I'll show you a film from Earth, and maybe you could share something about Oriel. Mira agreed, intrigued by the idea. Tom set up his media player and selected a classic Earth film known for its stunning cinematography and deep narrative. As they watched, Tom provided context where needed, explaining cultural references and nuances. When the film ended, Mira sat in thoughtful silence for a moment. It's beautiful how stories can capture so much of a culture's essence, she finally said. In Oriel, we share memories through a process called mind-weaving. It's quite complex, but essentially we share experiences directly from one consciousness to another. That sounds incredible, Tom marveled. Is it something you can show me? Mira hesitated, her expression contemplative. It requires physical contact and a willingness to be completely open. It can be quite intimate. Tom nodded, understanding the gravity of the act. Only if you're comfortable, Mira. There's no pressure. After a pause, Mira reached out her hand. I trust you, Tom. I would like to share a memory with you. They sat side by side, and Mira instructed Tom to relax and clear his mind. She placed her fingertips gently on his temples. Suddenly, Tom's vision blurred, and he found himself standing in a vast field under a bright alien sky. The memory so vivid, it was as if he was truly there. He could feel the soft breeze, the warmth of the sun, an Orielian sun. Emotions, alien yet somehow familiar, surged through him, a sense of deep peace and unity overwhelming his senses. As the connection faded, Tom was left in awe, his breath shallow. Mira, that was incredible. Mira withdrew her hands, her own expression one of mild surprise, as if she too had experienced something new. I'm glad you think so, Tom. Sharing this with you, it makes me feel closer to your world in a way I hadn't anticipated. They spent the rest of the evening on the balcony, watching a meteor shower paint streaks of light across the sky. The barriers between them, already thinning, seemed to dissolve a little more with each passing star. This night, Mira whispered, will be a cherished memory, Tom. And one worth sharing in the future, Tom added, his voice soft with promise. The morning after their shared memories, Tom decided to take Mira on a tour of the city's cultural landmarks to deepen her understanding of human creativity and expression. Their first stop was the renowned City Museum, which housed art from around the world and across centuries. As they entered the grand lobby of the museum, Mira looked around in awe, her eyes reflecting the magnificent sculptures and paintings that adorned the space. This is very different from Oriel, she noted. We have historical repositories, but they are not open for public viewing. They're more like archives for academic study. That's interesting, Tom replied as he led her towards the first exhibit, which showcased ancient Earth civilizations. Here, museums serve not only as educational institutions, but also as communal spaces for reflection and inspiration. Mira was particularly captivated by the Egyptian artifacts, her fingers hovering over the glass cases that protected the ancient relics. The craftsmanship is extraordinary, she marveled. There is something very powerful about seeing objects that have been touched by humans from so many generations ago. Tom watched her, pleased with her reaction. It's a testament to our history and resilience. Oops, sorry, I mean it shows our ability to preserve and honor our past. He corrected himself, remembering her earlier confusion about some human expressions. As they moved through the various exhibits, Tom explained the different art movements, pointing out key features and their significance. When they reached the modern art section, Mira seemed puzzled by a particularly abstract painting. I struggle to find the meaning in this, she confessed, tilting her head. Tom chuckled. Modern art can be like that. Sometimes it's about the emotion it evokes rather than any clear meaning. What do you feel when you look at it? Mira considered for a moment. Confusion, but also curiosity. It makes me want to understand the mind of the creator. That's exactly it, Tom exclaimed. It's about personal interpretation and emotional response. Each viewer might see something different. Feeling more comfortable with the concept, Mira nodded thoughtfully. Art, then, is a dialogue, not just within a society but also with oneself. Exactly, Tom agreed as they continued their tour. Later, they attended a workshop where visitors could create their own art pieces. Mira was hesitant at first, but with encouragement from Tom, she began to engage with the materials. To Tom's surprise, her piece was an intricate, flowing design that captured her experience of Earth so far, vibrant and chaotic, yet harmoniously beautiful. You have a real knack for this, Tom said, genuinely impressed. It's my first attempt at anything like this, Mira admitted, her face glowing with pride. Your world is very inspiring. As the day drew to a close, they left the museum with Mira carrying her artwork carefully. Today was enlightening, she said. I feel I understand your people a little better, through your art and your history. And I think I understand a bit more about you too, Tom replied, smiling as they made their way back to the bustling streets, the city around them alive with the constant flow of ideas and expressions, much like the art they had immersed themselves in all day. After a day absorbed in art and creativity, Tom and Mira found a quiet park near the museum to relax. It was a small, peaceful place, where the noise of the city seemed distant, muffled by the rows of flowering trees and the gentle hum of the evening. They sat on a bench overlooking a small pond, the surface shimmering under the fading light. Mira seemed contemplative, her gaze fixed on the gentle ripples in the water. Tom sensed there was something on her mind, a shift in her demeanor from the curiosity of the museum to a more introspective quietude. "Mira, you seem different today. Is everything okay?" Tom ventured gently, careful not to pry too abruptly into her thoughts. Mira turned to look at him, her eyes clear and unusually intense. "Tom, I've been thinking about our experiences today, about the art and the expressions of emotions. It's made me realize something important." Tom listened intently, nodding for her to continue. "In Oriel, we are taught to restrain our emotions, to maintain harmony. But seeing your culture, experiencing the way humans freely express themselves, it makes me wonder about the emotions I have suppressed over the years." Tom took a moment to process her words, understanding the weight of what she was sharing. It must be a lot to take in, seeing such a different way of living. "It is," Mira confirmed, "and it makes me curious about more personal expressions of emotion, about affection, and even love, which are not often displayed openly in my world." Her confession hung in the air, charged with an unspoken question. Tom felt the significance of this moment, realizing that Mira was reaching out, perhaps not just for understanding, but for a shared experience. "If you're comfortable, I could show you some of the ways humans express affection," Tom suggested cautiously, aware of the cultural sensitivity required. Mira considered his offer, her gaze returning to the pond as if seeking answers in its depths. After a long pause, she nodded. "Yes, I would like that. I trust you, Tom." Relieved by her trust, Tom moved closer, his actions deliberate and gentle. "Let's start with something simple," he said. He took her hand, a fundamental gesture of connection. This is how friends and loved ones often show comfort and affection. Mira's hand was cool and smooth in his, her touch tentative but not withdrawing. She studied their linked hands, a small smile forming. "It feels nice, warm." Encouraged, Tom continued, explaining each gesture as they progressed from holding hands to an embrace. "This is a hug. It's a way to show support and care," he explained, demonstrating a gentle, respectful embrace. Mira reciprocated, her arms careful around him. When they stepped back, her expression was one of wonder. "It's very comforting. I've never experienced anything like it." As the sky darkened and the first stars appeared, they remained at the park, talking softly about human relationships and emotions. Mira's questions grew more confident as she explored these new concepts, and Tom answered them with honesty and empathy. The evening ended with a promise to explore more of the city together. But more importantly, it marked a new depth to their friendship, one that was based not only on cultural exchange, but on a mutual exploration of emotion and affection. As they parted ways, Mira no longer seemed to be just an observer of human culture, but an active participant in the emotional landscape she was just beginning to understand. Tom decided to create a more intimate setting to continue exploring human expressions of affection with Mira. He invited her to his apartment again, this time planning a quiet evening with dinner followed by music and dancing, a human activity that combined movement, touch, and emotional expression. Mira arrived at Tom's apartment just as the sun was setting, casting a warm glow through the large windows. She seemed more at ease now, her curiosity mingling with a newfound anticipation for what the evening might hold. "Welcome back, Mira," Tom greeted her with a warm smile. "I thought tonight we could try something a bit different. Have you ever danced?" "Dance?" Mira echoed, her tone a mixture of intrigue and uncertainty. "I have read about it, but never experienced it. In Oriel, physical expressions are not common." "Well, tonight's a good night to start," Tom said encouragingly. He led her to a cleared space in the living room where soft music was playing, a gentle, rhythmic melody that was easy to move to. "Let's start simple," Tom suggested, taking her hands gently. "Just follow my lead and don't worry about getting it perfect. It's all about enjoying the moment." As they began to move to the music, Tom guided her through basic steps, their movements awkward at first but gradually finding a rhythm. Mira's initial hesitation faded as she began to laugh, the sound light and freeing. "This is fun," Mira admitted, a genuine smile spreading across her face as she allowed the music to guide her movements. Yes, it is, Tom agreed, his own heart lightened by her laughter. As they danced, he could feel the distance between them narrowing, a subtle shift towards something deeper than mere cultural exchange. The song changed to a slower, more intimate tune. Tom saw the hesitation flicker across Mira's face and said, "It's okay, we can stop if you're uncomfortable." "No, I want to continue," Mira responded quickly, her voice softer now. "Please, show me." Acknowledging her consent and comfort, Tom adjusted their positions so they were closer, their bodies aligned. He taught her the slow dance, their movements synchronized, hands resting lightly on each other. Mira's trust and the warmth from her body close to his caused a surge of protectiveness and affection in Tom. As the song neared its end, they found themselves standing close, breaths mingling. Tom looked into Mira's eyes, searching for any sign of discomfort. Instead, he found curiosity and an emotion he hadn't expected but hoped to see: affection. "Mira, can I show you another human expression of affection?" Tom asked gently, his voice barely above a whisper. "Yes," she replied, her voice equally soft, her gaze steady on his. Carefully gauging her reaction, Tom leaned in slowly, giving her time to pull back if she chose. When she didn't, he pressed his lips softly against hers in a gentle kiss. It was brief, respectful, but charged with the unspoken emotions that had been growing between them. When they parted, Mira's breath was shaky, her eyes wide with the impact of her first kiss. "Tom, that was—" "Are you okay?" Tom asked immediately, concern lacing his tone. "I am more than okay," Mira responded, a flush of color on her cheeks, a mix of confusion and delight in her eyes. I don't have the words." "That's okay," Tom smiled warmly. "You don't need words. How you feel is enough." They spent the rest of the evening talking softly, exploring their feelings and thoughts about the new emotional territories they had ventured into. It was a night of many firsts for Mira, each one an awakening to the complex world of human intimacy and emotion, and for Tom, a deepening of the bond that had begun as a simple task of cultural liaison, but was quickly becoming something far more profound. After several evenings spent exploring cultural exchanges and emotional connections, Tom and Mira had grown significantly closer, each meeting laced with a deepening sense of intimacy and understanding. On this particular night, Tom had prepared his apartment with special care, dimming the lights to a soft glow and playing some gentle music that filled the space with a soothing ambiance. Mira arrived, her curiosity now mingled with a visible sense of anticipation. She had begun to understand and appreciate the human expressions of affection that Tom had been sharing with her, and she felt a growing desire to explore these new sensations further. As they sat together on the couch, sharing light touches and soft smiles, the conversation gradually became more personal. They discussed their feelings about the journey they were on together, and Mira expressed her readiness to explore the physical aspects of human affection. Tom was gentle and considerate, always attentive to Mira's comfort and consent. He suggested they move to a more comfortable place, leading her by the hand to the bedroom. The mood was calm and the lights dim, creating a safe and intimate environment. Sitting on the edge of the bed, Tom looked into Mira's eyes, searching for any hesitation. Seeing none, he proceeded slowly, starting with a soft kiss that Mira reciprocated warmly. Her response encouraged him to explore further, guiding her down to the bed with careful, deliberate movements. As they lay together, Tom showed Mira how to express affection through more intimate touches. Their kisses deepened, and their hands explored with mutual curiosity and respect. Mira, initially tense with the newness of the experience, gradually relaxed into the sensations, her nervous trembles turning into ones of discovery and pleasure. "I can't stop trembling," Mira whispered in a breathy tone, her voice filled with wonder and excitement. Tom reassured her with gentle words and tender caresses, guiding her through each new sensation with patience and empathy. Their time together was a gentle exploration of each other, marked by moments of laughter, whispered words, and shared warmth. It was an evening of firsts for Mira, who experienced human love and affection in its most intimate form. As the night wore on, they lay in each other's arms, covered by a light blanket, feeling a profound connection that went beyond words. The physical expressions of their affection had deepened their emotional bond, leaving them both feeling cherished and understood. "I never knew it could be like this," Mira said softly, her voice reflecting both her awe and her deep emotional satisfaction. "Thank you, Tom, for showing me this part of human experience." Tom smiled, kissing her forehead gently. "Thank you, Mira, for trusting me, for sharing this moment with me." As they drifted off to sleep, wrapped in each other's arms, the night marked a significant chapter in their journey together, a night of deep revelations and tender, shared experiences. As Mira's time on Earth drew to a close, both she and Tom were acutely aware of the deep connection they had formed. Their explorations of human affection had transformed into a profound bond that neither expected but both cherished deeply. On the eve of her departure, they met once more at the interstellar trade port, the site of their first encounter, now imbued with a bittersweet significance. The port was bustling as always, a hub of activity and life, but Tom and Mira found a quiet corner where they could talk undisturbed, overlooking the docking bays where ships of all sizes came and went, carrying stories and lives to distant corners of the galaxy. "Mira, when you first arrived, I never imagined we would end up here," Tom began, his voice heavy with emotion. "Showing you my world, sharing those parts of human life. It's been one of the greatest joys of my life." Mira nodded, her expression thoughtful and a little sad. "Tom, I came here as a scholar, intent on studying human culture from a distance. But what I found was much more personal and profound. You've shown me not just your culture, but also the depth of human emotion. I am returning home changed, enriched." They paused, watching a sleek silver ship preparing for launch. Its engines hummed, a deep resonant sound that filled the air with anticipation. "I wish there were more time," Tom said quietly, his gaze fixed on the ship. "Time is the one thing we always wish more of," Mira replied, her hand finding his. "But the time we had was invaluable, and I will carry it with me always." Tom turned to look at her, memorizing her features, the way her eyes shone with a mix of sadness and gratitude, her gentle smile, the alien yet familiar contours of her face. "Will I see you again, Mira?" "I don't know what the future holds," Mira answered honestly. "Our worlds are far apart, but the universe has a way of bringing paths together when least expected. Let's just say, I hope so." They stood together, hand in hand, until it was time for Mira to board her ship. With one last embrace, they said their goodbyes, a promise unspoken but felt deeply, to remember and cherish the moments they had shared, no matter where their journeys took them. As Mira walked towards the boarding gate, she turned back once, smiling at Tom. He smiled back, his heart full of emotions he was still learning to understand. He watched as she disappeared into the ship, her figure silhouetted against the bright interior light. Turning away, Tom felt a mix of sadness and gratitude. Mira had opened his eyes to new depths of feeling and connection, teaching him as much about himself as he had shown her about humanity. The port around him buzzed with the lives and stories of countless others, and he knew that his story, their story, was just one of many woven into the fabric of the universe's vast tapestry. Mira's ship lifted off, soaring into the starlit sky, a sleek arrow shooting towards unknown futures. Tom watched until it was just a speck, feeling a profound sense of connection to the cosmos, to the paths intersected, and to the love that transcended worlds. Their story was a testament to the power of connection, a new understanding that would resonate within him forever.